light of some recent things that have happened both in the YouTube community and off of it, I've noticed a lot of news sources and celebrities and YouTubers, a lot of different people in different places talking about whether or not body shaming works, whether or not it's effective. And I think it's kind of interesting to start questioning that instead of questioning why people body shame. Though it's something that seems blatantly harmful, I just really like that the media is questioning how fat shaming affects others instead of questioning why people do it. So I'm here to tell you today that fat shaming, body shaming, totally 100% works. I'm someone who was very overweight as a child, and prior to learning how to eat healthy and learning that I enjoyed being active and losing weight naturally, I was body shamed by people in my elementary school. Which I think might be an area to look at, that children are shaming each other's bodies and making each other feel poorly. I was being called Big Mama after the owl in Fox and the Hound. Other kids didn't want to play with me because I was chunky as a kid. And so I developed at the tender age of right around 7 or 8 an eating disorder. I learned how to binge and purge when I was in the 3rd grade. And so all of the bullying, all of the mean words, every nasty thing I was called when I was very young worked. I learned how to still eat, but how to get it out of my system so that I wouldn't get any fatter and continue to offend a group of 7 and 8-year-olds. Because even though I was a very good girl, I was a good student, I was a good friend, I was a good person, I couldn't continue to exist being overweight, being chunky, because it was so offensive to other people. And I understand that they were coming from a place of care and a place of worry, and they were so concerned, those 7 and 8-year-olds, about my health, that they just had to tell me how gigantic I was so that I would just lose weight and be healthier for myself. So my body shut down because it wasn't getting any nutrients, and I didn't lose weight. I gained it. Being a kind of chubby kid to being obese, to being incredibly overweight, because my body didn't know what to do anymore. It was in panic mode, and I was just packing on the pounds like there were no tomorrow. And even though I didn't know what I was doing and I had never read about it before or heard about it before, I knew that whatever I was doing would make me thinner or make me prettier, and that would make me more acceptable. Sorry, I don't know why I keep crying. It's a happy story, you know. I'm just so happy that I was body shamed to the point of starving myself and leading myself into multiple health problems that would follow me for the rest of my life. It's such a good thing. It's overwhelming. So fast forward a couple of years, several years, I'm in high school at a completely new school in a completely new town, and those kids that fat shamed me when I was very young for my health to help me throughout the rest of my life were no longer in my life, but the effects still had a pretty strong hold on me. I was in sports, I was doing cross country and running a lot, and I had a wonderful coach who never once used my body as something that would inhibit my progress. And even though no one ever said a word, whenever I would see girls, especially in the locker rooms, looking me up and down or whispering to their friends, I always just kept hearing in the back of my head the words that 7-year-olds used to say about my body, and it 10 years later almost was still in my head. And I remember looking at my teammates who were so supportive and kind to me, but who obviously didn't care about me at all because they never ever made remarks about my body or my weight or how it was slowing the team down or anything, and who treated me like a human being. Like what kind of friends are those who don't pick you apart or treat you like you're any different from them, am I right? But I looked at them and I thought to myself, I am holding you back. And instead of quitting the team, I decided that I just didn't really need to eat anymore. I mean, clearly I had so much fat in my body and so much to work off and live off of that I didn't need food. What was it doing for me? I worked out constantly and I stopped eating. And I lost a lot of weight very quickly. And so fat shaming was done. I wasn't fat anymore. I was very thin, actually. And so people showed their concern now by a different form of body shaming to help me not be so thin. I had people call me a Skeletor at one point because you could see the bones through here. I had girls make fun of me in the bathroom and ask if I even ate and tell me how gross I was. And I had friends stop being my friends. It was also helpful because I quickly realized that I couldn't be fat and I couldn't be skinny. And so I just couldn't exist. Because no matter what I did, my body was subject to criticism, even though it wasn't something I controlled or something that I had an active hold over. I learned that I was a bad person because I was fat and because I didn't have self-control. I learned that I was also a bad person when I was thin because I was looking for attention and because I was prettier when I was fat, but no one ever told me that. Stop being mean and pushing your visual aesthetic preferences onto other people because you want to hide behind a thin veil of concern for them. Stop judging people's characters because of their body and assuming that they're lazy because they're fat or they have no self-control or they're inherently bad people. Stop assuming that thin people are vain and want attention, and stop assuming that they're just okay with the way that they look and because of that you can make any old comment you please. Stop pretending that you have any power over other people and making yourself seem more in control than them by telling them that they're worth nothing because of their weight. If you're genuinely concerned about a person, I'm sure that you'll find a better way to tell them than shaming them for the way that they look. Most people wake up on a daily basis and look in the mirror and already know what they look like, and they're either pleased or unhappy with it or somewhere in the middle, but I guarantee you that you saying something about the way that they look isn't going to magically inspire them to change that. I'm just over people being made fun of and being made to feel like they're lesser than because of their shape or their size, and that's all I really wanted to say. So I'm gonna go ahead and go. I hope you guys found something out of this, and I'll see you next time. Bye.